You won't believe what happens at the end of Exterritorial. This Netflix thriller will leave you breathless. Hold on tight, Netflix fans. If you haven't watched Exterritorial yet, you're seriously missing out on one of the most intense, mind-bending thrillers on the platform right now. With a plot that's crazier than a roller coaster and enough twists to make your head spin, this German-language movie is quickly climbing the Netflix charts. But don't worry, we've got you covered. Let's break it down and unpack the ending that will have you gasping for air. From Taken to Exterritorial, but with a major twist. Meet Sarah Wolf, a tough-as-nails former Special Forces soldier who's still haunted by a deadly mission in Afghanistan that killed her entire platoon. Now dealing with PTSD, Sarah's life is a ticking time bomb. Her struggles are only getting worse, and in the opening scene, she's so wound up, she attacks a random pedestrian. Talk about a rough start. But things take an even darker turn when she heads to the US consulate in Frankfurt to sort out her work visa. While she's waiting, her 6-year-old son, Josh, goes missing. Not a trace. When Sarah asks about him, the staff insists she was alone. They show her security footage, and it's like Josh was never even there. What? Are we in some kind of Twilight Zone episode, or is Sarah going crazy? Sarah takes matters into her own hands. Of course, everyone thinks Sarah's losing it, including her own mother, but Sarah isn't one to sit around and wait for answers. In true Special Forces style, she starts kicking down doors and uncovering dark secrets inside the consulate. What she finds is a web of corruption, international drug smuggling, money laundering, and shady government employees pulling the strings behind the scenes. And guess who's at the center of it all? Eric Kinch, the head of security at the consulate. Oh, and by the way, Kinch also happens to be the guy who sold out Sarah's platoon in Afghanistan, resulting in the ambush that killed her team. Talk about a villain with a personal vendetta, but things get even crazier. Sarah discovers that Josh wasn't the real target. Nope, it turns out the whole kidnapping was just a distraction. The real plan was to get their hands on a USB drive containing evidence of a corrupt businessman's assassination, and Sarah was the perfect scapegoat to cause chaos. Kinch used Sarah's PTSD to manipulate her into going full crazy mom mode. The epic showdown, Sarah versus Kinch. Who will come out on top? Sarah, being the absolute badass she is, confronts Kinch in a high-stakes showdown. After a brutal fight, she forces him to admit everything. The kidnapping, the betrayal, and the conspiracy. And then, in true bad guy fashion, Kinch starts monologuing. He talks about how he did it all for his family, but you know what they say? If you're explaining, you're losing. And in this case, Kinch is definitely losing. But here's the kicker. Sarah secretly recorded his entire confession with a voice recorder from Kinch's daughter, Aileen. With the evidence in hand, she plays it over the loudspeaker for everyone to hear. Boom, Kinch is exposed, arrested, and his entire operation falls apart. Oh, and in case you were wondering, Josh? He's safe and sound, hidden in a storage closet. Phew! The ending, helicopters, PTSD, and a hint of a sequel? Now, you might be thinking, that's it, right? Nope, the final moments of Exterritorial leave us with one last punch to the gut. 8 weeks later, Sarah and Josh are finally about to leave for the US to start fresh. Sarah's PTSD seems to be under control, and she's learned to cope with the traumatic memories of her past. But just when everything seems calm, the sound of a military helicopter flies overhead, triggering memories of her Afghanistan trauma. Here's the twist. Instead of freaking out, Sarah calmly brushes it off, saying to Josh, "Just a helicopter." This moment is a sign of her growth. She's no longer ruled by her PTSD. But before the credits roll, we hear that helicopter again. Is it a new threat, or is it just a final reminder of how far Sarah has come? Conclusion, Exterritorial, a thrilling, twisted ride you have to watch. If you haven't already added Exterritorial to your watch list, what are you waiting for? With an explosive plot, heart-pounding action, and a protagonist you'll root for until the very end, this film is an absolute roller coaster. The ending alone will have you questioning everything you thought you knew about Sarah, her son, and the conspiracy that ensnared them. Whether you're into revenge thrillers or you just love a good plot twist, Exterritorial has it all. So, what are you waiting for? Watch it now and let us know. Are you still reeling from that ending, or are you ready for more?